Welcome to the YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub, your one-stop solution for expert guidance, best practices, and actionable knowledge in the world of contact centers. Explore, learn, and enhance contact center skills. Welcome to this section, where we'll focus on how to set effective customer effort score targets in a call center. Setting CES targets isn't just about choosing a number, it's about making sure those targets are realistic, customer-focused, and operationally achievable. Too high, and they may feel unattainable for agents; too low, and they won't drive meaningful improvements. That's why we'll take a structured approach, looking at the key factors that influence CES, from industry benchmarks and customer expectations to service levels, workforce skills, and technology capabilities. By the end of this section, you'll have a clear framework for setting CES targets that motivate your teams, align with customer needs, and deliver sustainable results. When setting customer effort score targets, the first place to look is at industry benchmarks and best practices. On a 1 to 7 scale, high-performing call centers typically aim for a CES of 6.0 or higher. This indicates that customers find the experience very easy, with minimal effort required. On a 1 to 5 scale, the benchmark shifts slightly. Here, top-performing organizations usually target a CES between 4.5 and 4.7. Again, the principle is the same: the higher the score, the lower the perceived effort. Equally important is competitive positioning. Targets should not be set in isolation. If industry leaders in your sector are consistently achieving higher CES scores, it's important to set goals that at least match or exceed those averages. This ensures your call center remains competitive in customer experience and doesn't fall behind peers. In short, industry benchmarks provide both a baseline and a directional guide. They help us understand what good looks like, and they set the stage for creating CES targets that are not only ambitious but also aligned with customer expectations and market realities. Another critical factor in setting CES targets is understanding customer expectations and experience goals. For digital native customers, particularly younger, tech-savvy audiences, expectations are much higher. They're accustomed to instant, seamless experiences in areas like e-commerce, mobile banking, and streaming services. When they interact with a call center, they expect the same speed and simplicity. For this group, higher CES targets are essential because anything less feels outdated or frustrating. There's also the distinction between VIP or enterprise customers and regular customers. High-value clients contribute disproportionately to loyalty and revenue, which means their expectations must be managed more carefully. For them, CES targets should be stricter, aiming for near-effortless experiences, because the stakes are higher if their needs aren't met. Regular customers still matter, but organizations may set slightly more flexible targets while working toward continuous improvement. The key takeaway here is that one-size-fits-all doesn't work for CES targets. They need to reflect the expectations of your customer base, with higher standards where loyalty and revenue are most at risk. A third factor to consider when setting CES targets is the complexity of queries and the type of calls being handled. For simple, routine queries, such as password resets, account balance checks, or basic troubleshooting, customers expect speed and ease. These interactions should aim for near maximum CES targets, because anything less signals unnecessary friction in what should be a straightforward process. On the other hand, complex or regulated issues require more realistic targets. In industries like banking, insurance, or healthcare, compliance rules or multiple approval steps may be unavoidable. These cases naturally demand more effort from both the agent and the customer. Here, CES targets should still strive for efficiency, but they must also account for the added steps required by regulation or complexity. The takeaway is this: not all interactions are created equal. Setting CES targets should be calibrated to the type of query, aiming high for routine tasks while setting realistic, achievable goals for more complex, compliance-driven cases. Another important consideration in setting CES targets is the role of service-level agreements and contractual obligations. In BPO environments, CES targets may be directly tied to contractual terms. Here, performance is often linked to penalties or bonuses. If CES scores fall below an agreed threshold, the provider may face financial penalties. If they exceed expectations, they may qualify for incentive-based rewards. In this case, CES targets must be carefully defined and closely monitored to meet external accountability. By contrast, in-house contact centers usually take a different approach. Since there are no client contracts at stake, CES targets are often aligned with internal KPIs such as CSAT, NPS, and first call resolution. The focus is less on avoiding penalties and more on driving consistency, improving customer journeys, and supporting broader organizational goals. The key insight here is that the context matters. Whether you're operating under external contracts or internal performance standards, CES targets need to be realistic, measurable, and aligned with the obligations of the environment. Another key factor in setting CES targets is the reality of call volumes and staffing capacity. During peak seasons or major product launches, customer demand can spike dramatically. In these periods, it may be necessary to provide some flexibility in CES targets. While the long-term goal should always be to reduce effort, holding teams to unrealistically high targets during sudden surges can create pressure and lead to disappointment. Equally important is agent availability. CES targets can only be achieved when staffing levels are adequate to meet demand. If the workforce is stretched too thin, customers face longer waits, rushed calls, and inconsistent service quality. This not only increases customer effort but also risks agent burnout. The lesson here is that CES targets must reflect operational realities. With proper forecasting, workforce planning, and seasonal adjustments, targets can stay ambitious while still being achievable and sustainable for both agents and customers. Another important factor in setting CES targets is the skill level and training of the workforce. When you have cross-trained, experienced teams, agents are capable of handling a wide range of query types without needing transfers or escalations. In these environments, it's realistic and even necessary to set higher CES targets because the team has the capability to deliver seamless, low-effort experiences consistently. On the other hand, in situations with high attrition or many new agents, it's important to recognize the learning curve. New hires may take longer to resolve issues, rely more heavily on transfers, or need closer supervision. In these cases, CES targets may need to be set more conservatively at first, with the expectation that they will rise as training, coaching, and workforce stability improve. The key insight here is that CES targets should reflect the maturity of the workforce. By aligning goals with agent capability, organizations can drive continuous improvement without setting teams up for failure. Another critical factor in setting CES targets is the level of technology and automation available in the call center. When centers have access to advanced AI, self-service tools, and integrated systems, the customer journey becomes far more seamless. Features like intelligent IVR, chatbots, and unified CRM platforms reduce friction, speed up resolutions, and allow agents to focus on more complex needs. In such environments, it's reasonable to set higher CES goals, because the technology actively supports effortless experiences. In contrast, centers that still rely on legacy systems face limitations, slow platforms, disconnected tools, and minimal automation. These issues create added effort for customers and agents alike. In these cases, CES targets must be set more realistically, at least until system upgrades are made to eliminate those friction points. The bottom line is this: technology is a direct enabler of CES. The more advanced and integrated the tools, the higher the bar we can set for effortless service. Another key input for setting CES targets is historical performance and trend analysis. The first step is to take a data-driven approach. By reviewing 6 to 12 months of CES data, we can identify patterns and set progressive improvement goals. This prevents sudden, aggressive jumps in targets that can demotivate agents or distort performance results. Instead, it creates a realistic path of steady improvement. The second step is to align targets with root cause fixes. If past CES dips were driven by issues like complex processes, poor routing, or training gaps, then targets should rise in line with the improvements made to those areas. This ensures that gains are sustainable rather than short-lived. The takeaway here is simple: history provides context. By learning from past performance and connecting targets to real improvements, organizations can set CES goals that are ambitious, credible, and achievable. The final factor to consider when setting CES targets is the organization's financial and business objectives. On one side, there are retention and upsell goals. A higher CES directly translates into lower churn, stronger loyalty, and more opportunities for cross-sell and upsell. If the potential revenue impact is high, then it may be worth setting more aggressive CES targets, because the financial payoff justifies the investment in creating effortless experiences. On the other side, there's the need for cost control. Delivering a seamless experience often requires investment in staffing, training, and technology. Targets must therefore strike a balance, ambitious enough to drive loyalty and revenue growth, but realistic enough to remain operationally and financially sustainable. The key insight here is that CES targets should never be set in isolation. They must reflect broader business priorities, ensuring that the customer experience strategy aligns with both revenue ambitions and cost realities. The final factor in setting CES targets is recognizing the role of the multi-channel customer experience. For real-time interactions like voice and live chat, customer expectations are naturally higher. These are immediate channels where customers anticipate fast responses, quick resolutions, and minimal friction. As a result, CES targets here should be set more aggressively, reflecting the demand for near-effortless service. By contrast, asynchronous channels such as email or back-office processes operate on longer timelines. Customers generally expect some delay, so CES targets can be slightly more relaxed without undermining satisfaction. What matters here is clarity, accuracy, and consistency rather than pure speed. The key takeaway is that channel type shapes customer expectations. CES targets must be calibrated accordingly, higher for real-time channels, more flexible for asynchronous ones, to ensure goals are both fair and aligned with customer perceptions. Thanks for watching my YouTube channel, Contact Center Knowledge Hub. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights. See you in the next video.